It's that time again, guys. Today I'm going to be going through everything we know about the upcoming DLC that we have been told, and hopefully it will give us an idea of what we can expect. Of course, if you are on the forums regularly, you will know most of what I'm going to say, but if you don't go on the forums, you might learn something you didn't know before. Getting straight off the bat, starting nice and simple, we know it is a Lord pack. CA did state ages ago now that they only have Lord packs remaining for Warhammer 2, meaning of course this video is based around Lord packs, and any new races will either be part of Game 3 or a pre-order most likely. So before I go into clarification on what we know for the next DLC, I feel it's worth touching on how DLC were and what we have come to now, which might give us an indication of what we will get, but I'll explain. So back in Total War Warhammer 1, when the Grim and the Grave and the King and the Warlord were released, they basically gave 2 legendary lords with 2 additional lords, each with a random amount of units, so one side might have 2, the other might have 3, and then their Regiment of Renowns for those units in the DLC, and also current ones for the race. This gave 3 of the core races in Total War Warhammer 4 legendary lords, since 3 were FLC, leaving Empire as the only race with 3 legendary lords. Of course, when I mean core races, I do mean the starting 4 that came with the game. Beastmen, Bretonia, Chaos, Norska and Wood Elves will be left out of this video, as they were not lore packs, they were basically DLC pre-order FLC. So this left Warhammer 1 core races lacking 4 legendary lords each. This was not a problem until we got a taste of Warhammer 2. The Queen and the Crone and the Prophet and the Warlock changed quite a few things. First, the Queen and the Crone gave us some different stuff and some similar things. It kept the premise of adding X amount of units for both sides, which were not always equal, and then giving us Regiments of Renown units and also ones for the current race. But the FLC that came with it was a Lithanar, putting the legendary lords of High Elves up to 4, and then adding the Carabas late, which was an odd move. Later on we got Tomb Kings and Vampire Coast, which added an FLC for both Skaven and Dark Elves, Tretch Craventail for Skaven, and Lokir Fellheart for Dark Elves. This meant that we could predict the Prophet and the Warlock would contain 2 Lizardmen legendary lords, one with the lore pack and one as an FLC, and 1 Skaven lord in the lore pack, which would give all factions 4 legendary lords in Game 2. This was around the time that CA announced no more races for Total War Warhammer 2, and this led to massive conflict on the forums between people, as some people wanted cross-game lore packs to help finish off lords and units in Game 1 races, and others felt it would not be a good idea to do so, which left us at this sort of crossroad to see what CA was going to do next. Of course, we were blessed by Sigmar and were given the Hunter and the Beast, one of my favourite DLC, but it has set the bar and has told us quite a few things about what we could be expecting in the next lore pack. So first of all, it gave us cross-game lore packs. This was huge for a number of reasons. It allowed for matchups that had not previously been possible, like Lizardmen and Empire, to be actually in-game. It meant that Game 1 core races could get love, such as lords and units, and also in Game 3, the possibility of Game 2 and Game 1 lore pack crossovers, which is important to note, which I will bring up since I think we could be seeing this later on, is now possible. Number 2, it shows us that lore is not always set in stone. Marcus Wolfhart and Nakai never had a grudge. In Marcus Wolfhart's lore, there was no indication that he ever went to Lustria, meaning that anything is possible. Don't base lore packs on lore anymore, in my opinion. Just base it on what is cool, like CA said. Basically, what CA said is that they're basically doing their own sort of Warhammer Fantasy lore, which is where they can decide what fights are happening in the world and where legendary lords are placed. Number 3, 6 legendary lords was unexpected. We knew that one Warhammer 2 race was going to get at least 5 with the next DLC, which was the Hunter and the Beast, but the fact one now has 6 with Gorok the White Lizard as the FLC, which made 6 for Lizardmen, means that a lot of people are saying that Warhammer 2 core races should all have 6 before the 3rd game, which is possible with at least 2 lore packs left in this game with their, legendary lord FLCs as well. However, CA did say that they don't have an exact amount of lords for each race they want to get in. I believe that they won't give 6 to all the factions in Game 2. Like they say, when the trilogy is done, Game 1 and Game 2 races might need a new lick of paint, meaning they will get love at the end. This then brings me back onto CA making their own lore. In one interview, someone asked about Thancor, and the CA dev said that they were making their own universe, and in an ebook that they had written, it gives a hint to Thancor. In this ebook, it hints to Thancor being the sponsor of Clan Scurvy, basically rat pirates. This made me think that obviously Clan Scurvy could be anywhere on the map, but don't really have the units for a lord pack, which is why I feel Thancor will be an FLC lord added in Game 3, somewhere in the south of the Darklands near the coast. This gives some variation in playstyle with a full roster of what we have now and Clan Mulder units added in a lore pack, which, we will get out. I feel that Clan Eshin won't be added. Of course, this has problems. I mean, how do you add Skaven in the 3rd game without, it being a race? Which I imagine imagine they'll do something similar to they did in the Hunter and the Beast with the Empire. Number 4. Yes, we are still talking about the Hunter and the Beast and what it's told us. Unit, Lord and Hero patterns. What I mean by this is that the Prophet and the Warlock and the Hunter and the Beast had the exact same pattern in DLC. They added 2 Legendary Lords, 2 Minor Lords, 3 units and a Regiment of Renown for each other than the Feldred Soren. Obviously, we can now use this template to understand how CA will do the next lore pack, which we can use for reference. To give you an example, I will use Skaven Clan Mulder. Clan Mulder adds a legendary lord, Frot the Unclean. It adds a minor lord like a Beastmaster, which is a kind of minor version of Frot the Unclean. It adds 3 units, which is Brood Horrors, Wolf Rats and Storm Fiends, and each one of those gets a Regiment of Renown, like Gatling Storm Fiends. Lastly, the Hunter and the Beast has showed us that CA are willing to do a good versus good Lord pack. Previously, all the Lord packs had a good versus evil theme, but this one was the first with a good versus good theme, which I feel has indicated that bad versus bad is just as likely and what we could be seeing for this next Lord pack. Right, now that's all said and done, we can discuss about what we know about the next lore pack. First of all, it's coming in December, which of course you know by the title of this video. This lore pack will be part of the Festag update, which will focus more on technical maintenance, quality of life improvements, than faction/race overhauls, which will resume in future patches. This of course means that it's not cross-game. Everyone thought after the Hunter and the Beast that High Elves Greenskins was next due to that being a popular demand. CA even said themselves that Grim and a Grom are a classic matchup and one that could make for some fun. Also, moving back to the previous post before the Empire rework, they mentioned that they had big plans for both, so we can expect the exact same treatment for the Empire got for the Greenskins in a future cross-game lore pack. Obviously we're not sure if that's High Elves guaranteed though. This meant we were left with Lizardmen, Dark Elves, High Elves and Skaven for the next lore pack. Currently, natural selection is dictating what people think. Lizardmen are out since they have the most fleshed out lords and units to this date. People say High Elves and Dark Elves won't be done against each other due to that being boring, and also High Elves will most likely be saved for the Greenskins cross-game lore pack, leaving us with Skaven and Dark Elves. People believe this will be the next lore pack. And people have good reason to think this as well. CA said that this Christmas we will see a fan favourite Lord, but did not say if it's going to be part of the DLC or the FLC Legendary Lord, but they did say that the FLC Legendary Lord coming along with this Festag update is not Skaven. So people are now saying that we're going to get a Dark Elves versus Skaven lore pack, with Milas Darkblade as the FLC, with perhaps Frot the Unclean versus Rakarth, I believe that's how you say it, for a sort of Beastmaster versus Beast Creator DLC, leaving for Thankful for a Skaven versus Dwarf DLC down the line, perhaps, which would work perfectly since we now get 6 Dark Elf Lords. And of course, carrying on, High Elves would get 2 from the Greenskins and the High Elves lore pack, 1 from being an FLC Legendary Lord. Dwarves vs Skaven gives the last Legendary Lord for Skaven to make 6, with an FLC for that DLC maybe being like another Slayer unit like Demon Slayers. And of course, Vampire counts don't need any love since they are basically finished now. Pretty much leaves us with this assumption since they're not going to be in a cross-game lore pack. Anyway, my voice is starting to hurt, so let me know what you think. Hopefully this will get you up to date on what we know about the next DLC in December. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.